In this video, we will learn how to construct a binomial distribution in Excel. The problem at hand says a 20-question multiple choice test with 5 possible choices for each question is given. There is only one correct answer. Suppose a student guesses all of his answers. Well, this problem describes a binomial distribution. The reason why this is the case is because there are only 2 possible outcomes. That would be success if the student gets the right answer or the correct answer, or the second option would be failure, which means that the student did not get the correct answer. As we know, when dealing with binomial distributions, we have to determine the variables n, p, and q. N represents the number of trials, and in this case, since there are 20 questions, the student will be guessing the answers for 20 questions on the test. N will be 20. So I'm going to put 20 right up here to represent N. The next variable we will look for will be P. P represents the probability of a success. The probability of a success in this case would be the probability that the student guesses the correct answer. Well, let's look at this. Each multiple choice test has 5 possible choices for each question, or each question rather has 5 possible choices, and there's only one correct answer. So the probability of getting the correct answer is going to be 1 out of 5, and if you write 1/5 as a decimal, you'll get 20% or 0.2. So we have N, we have P. Q, of course, is going to be the probability of getting a failure. So Q will be 1 minus P, which should be 1 minus 0.2, which is 0.8. You can either put 0.8 in the formula or in the cell, or you can choose to write an equation. We'll do it this way by putting an equal sign, and then you can put, it's going to be 1 minus, and then you click the cell F2, and you'll end up with 0.8. In order to construct a binomial distribution, which is what 2 is asking us to do, we first need to list the range, all of the possible outcomes, and that will be represented by our variable x. So in column A, you notice that I have x, and I have all of the possible options for a correct answer. The student can get 0 correct answers, 1 correct answer, 2, 3, all the way down to 20 correct answers. So I have a column that's titled Binomial Distribution, and I want the first cell to generate the probability that the student will guess 0 correct answers. So we will go to the fx, or the function icon, and you want to make sure that you get statistical information. So it's already there, but what you want to do is click on the drop down menu and you want to scroll to make sure that you get statistical. We will look for binomial distribution on this list. So if we scroll down, you'll see binomial distribution, and we will click on OK. In this window, it asks you for a number of different things. The first option here is the number of successes. Right now, I'm just concerned with 0 successes. In other words, 0 correct answers. I'm going to go to the cell where it has the 0, and that's going to be cell A2. Now, I'm going to end up generating all of these options from 1 to 20. So I'm going to be going down the column A all the way down to A22. So I don't want A to move when I do that. So I'm going to put a $sign right in front of the A to show that I don't want the A to change. The number of trials will be 20 because it's a 20 question multiple choice test. Well, I'm just going to go on and get that from here. We already entered that. That would be E2. I don't want that to change at either. So I'm going to put a $sign in front of the E so that the E doesn't change. And I also don't want the 2 to change. I'm going to put a $sign in front of the 2. Alright, the next option asks us to find the probability of a success. The probability of a success, as you know, is 0.2. Well, we have that in this cell. So I'm just going to click on that cell. And I don't want that cell to ever change. So I want to put a $sign in front of the F and a $sign in front of the 2. In this column, I just want the binomial distribution. I do not want the cumulative distribution. So, since I do not want the cumulative distribution just yet, I'm going to type false. In this cell, because I just want to generate the binomial distribution data, all of the probabilities of getting either a 0 or 1 and so forth. So I'm done filling out all of this information. I'm going to click on OK, and as you can see, it gives me the first probability, the probability of getting 0 correct answers. Well, I'm going to, in this corner, I'm going to wait until the plus sign shows, and I'm just going to drag that all the way down to 20. I went a little too far. Let me go back up. And it gives you each of the probabilities of getting one of the options in the first column. The probability of getting 4 correct answers would be right here, 0.218199, or 21.8%. The probability of getting 2 correct answers would be 0.136, or 137.137, or 13.7%. We will now construct the binomial distribution histogram. In order to do this, we're going to highlight the column with all of the different probabilities. We'll click on Insert. And I'm going to use a column chart. And notice here that it's not quite a histogram. This is a column chart or a bar chart. So there are a number of changes that we're going to have to make. The first change that we're going to make, notice that the numbers along this horizontal axis are different from our range. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to change these values here. So I'm going to wait until my cursor becomes an arrow, and that will highlight the entire horizontal axis. I'm going to right click. When I right click, I'm going to click on select data, and the horizontal axis is what I would like to change. So I'm going to click on the right side here, edit, and I'm going to go and click this arrow here, which allows me to come over here and highlight the values that I actually want to put there. I'm going to click on OK, and notice the values become 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and so forth. I'm going to click OK again, and notice that the values along my horizontal axis now correspond to the values of X in our binomial distribution. The next thing I want to do is change my bar chart to histograms. Remember, histograms are connected to each other. So now I'm going to change this bar chart to a histogram. So I'm going to highlight each of the bars, and I do that just by clicking on the inside, and then I'm going to right click, choose Format Data Series, and I'm going to change the gap width to 0. I'll make sure the gap width is on 0. Notice that I now have a histogram. The only thing is, it's hard for me to tell the distinctions between the different bars. So in addition to that, I'm going to click on that again, and then I'm going to go up here to Design. Actually, I'm going to go to Format, and I am going to click on Shape Outline, and I'm going to use black to define the different rectangles. And so we have a histogram for our binomial distribution. I can change the title, and I'll just call it B20.2. That's the name of our distribution.